I have already received a huge amount of questions, and I think it has triggered your imagination so well that the first question that I come across in from most of the speakers is they started getting worried. The salaries are very low. The questions pertain to that only. The first question goes to Mr. Dilip Cherian. According to you, the future of advertising, I don't know whether you say it is not so good. How good is it as a part of the media industry, and how it's going to be in the next 10 years?
It's a tough question to answer how good the advertising industry is going to be in the next 10 years. The basic fact you need to remember is that as long as there are things to sell, and as long as the customer has decisions to make and she has a free will, there's going to be space for advertising. As long as there's space for advertising, there is space and need for media. The nature of media which advertising uses will also change. But then, as Suhasini and Pankaj have already said, media is itself in a shifting situation today. The gears are shifting. So to answer your question, advertising has a great future. It's going to be even more difficult to do good advertising because the customer will find ways of resisting multiple messages. You're being bombarded, it's only going to get worse. So good advertising is going to be a good business.
The next question is from Mr. Pankaj Pachori as well as from Suhasini. A very interesting question, and he says, the mother of the media is always the print media. If it goes down, how will media survive?
Welcome to the brave new world. When television came, everyone thought print is going to die. It didn't die. Now internet is coming and people are saying that television is going to die. Not going to die. The good news is that coming from advertising, in television now more money is going to come from subscription than from advertising. Right now about 20% is from subscription and 80% from advertising, and that's the whole problem in the television industry today, because then everyone is chasing the TRP, and that's why you must have seen all these programs and all that. In UK it's already happened that after the slowdown in the world economy, the advertising on internet is increasing faster than advertising in TV and print. In India also, if you look at the internet advertising, there's so many new platforms coming up. We are also looking at advertising from internet, and not just internet, from the new platforms Suhasini was talking about. We've just launched last month a new application for iPhones and iPads in NDTV, and that's our new stream for revenue. And as you look at something like Huffington Post, please everyone here who wants to be in media, please read Huffington Post. They are based only on net advertising, and it's a very good product. It's very good content. You must read that for international news. So I'm not, though I strike a word of caution here, that what I was saying, it's not all doomsday. It's not all doomsday, there's no slash and burn. Media as an industry will keep growing as long as there are people producing goods which have to reach people. That's the basic thing. So,
the next question is from a student from the Media Management MBA. I have not got the name on it, so I don't know whether he or a she, but I'll say yes. The question is addressed to all the three members of the panel and particularly targeted at Suhasini. What, according to you, makes a good journalist apart from having a passion to make a difference and wanting to make a difference? What difference?
I think I would look at it differently. The passion to make a difference maybe makes us all in the community who we are. But a good journalist, someone who can actually make that difference to his community, someone who likes to tell a story, someone who is able to have the empathy to meet new people every day, to have that excitement, and to continue to want to tell that story. So from a journalism point of view, I think that's the most important, that we have to remember that we're not the story, that we're not making up the story, but we really do want to tell the story. And that's at the crux of the communication business. I might be simplifying this a little bit for you, but I sincerely do believe that that's at the base of what most of us want to do, a desire to meet you every day, either through our writing or over the television or on the internet, and basically tell you a good story. Just to the previous question about print going away, in terms of actual numbers, India and China are the two countries where subscriptions are actually growing. These are countries where the media, the print business particularly, is still growing. In most of the West, they've either come to a full stop or have seen negative growth for the past few years. But India and China, certainly, there's a lot to feel positive about.
Very interesting question has come from a very young, newly enrolled student of BJMC. I'm glad that the name has not again been written once. It's addressed to Mr. Dilip Cherian. What are the current trends of PR industry in India, and how a good PR or a bad PR can change the image of a company or an organization? I would like to have some examples from Perfect Relations CEO.
Okay, let me answer the first part about what are the trends in PR. The second part I'm not going to answer, let me be honest, because I have absolutely no recollection of any company whose image we have turned around and I am responsible for. It's a collective effort. There are colleagues of mine and they are the ones who tell that story. But the story I want to tell you is, where is the future of PR? And the future of PR is exactly where both Suhasini and Pankaj told you. It is in specialization. Today, Perfect Relations is just a group holding company. We have a company which does work only on the internet. We have a company which does work only on CSR, corporate social responsibility. We have a company which works only in the healthcare practice. We have a company which works only on Bollywood releases. So specialization is the trend of tomorrow. We probably are a little ahead of the loop. We have companies which look at infrastructure. We have companies which are specialized. The media in it is getting specialized. The skills required are different, and the ability to understand your sector is something that is more complex than ever before, because there are global players, there are domestic players, there are regional players, and you have to understand about how they work, what they communicate, and what the constraints are. So to answer your question, the future of communications is specialization. And to answer your second question as to companies which we have turned around, whether it's a Coke, whether it's an American Express, whether it's a Punj Lloyd, there are companies whose stories are now written about and talked about, for whom work took place 5 years ago and where work still carries on. Thank you.
A very interesting question. I am sorry, I think I should have read it, but I don't feel like keeping it under the wraps. It's again from Dilip Cherian. And the question is, don't you feel bad in managing the image of corrupt political parties?
You know, fortunately, corrupt political parties have two disadvantages. One is that they don't want too much spoken about them. And the second is that they don't want to pay by check. And we unfortunately pay salaries by check. So we have to take payments also by check. So the numbers of political parties who approach us are very large, but the ones who fulfill both conditions, the willingness to speak out and the ability to pay their bills in checks, are very little. So we're not in that dilemma too often.
I'm not taking the difficult questions first, I'll take the interesting questions. A very interesting question from a young BGMC entrant. My English is bad, can you improve my English, Mr. Dilip Cherian?
Speak to your mother.
A lot of questions have come, a huge number of them. probably Mr. Pankaj Pachori has stirred the hornet's nest as to don't opt for a career in filmmaking. Plenty of questions, I'm not going to read them one by one. Why do you think so that filmmaking is going down and there is no good prospects and job opportunities in filmmaking?
If your father has had 13 flop films and even after that he became a superstar, by all means join film industry. I'm talking about Amitabh Bachchan. Film industry is going through the same crisis as actually television is going through. And it is the crisis of content. The content of our films has become so formula oriented in the last 50 years that people have lost the plot. As I told you, only 10 movies in India make money these days out of 100 in a year. And we make close to 900 movies in India. So you can imagine there are how many producers and financiers who haven't recovered their money which they have put into movies. So if you are Abhishek Bachchan, by all means join film industry, because that's a good business model. And then you get to marry Aishwarya Rai also, and then three of you can be the best product brands for about 4 dozen products in the country. So if you have that kind of business model, it's fine. Otherwise, if you want to get into filmmaking and technology of film, you want to be a camera person, you want to be a documentary maker, you want to be a set designer, and all those things, it's very tough these days. And that's precisely why, because the content is bad, that the English movies are making more money in India than our own movies. I mean, the Hindi translation of Spider-Man and Batman, and now recently Inception, they make more money than our Hindi movies because they have good content, people have worked on them, they have invested money, they have got a plot, they have got a story to tell. That's why. If you are Abhishek Bachchan, by all means.
Another interesting question, both from Pankaj and Suhasini. Suhasini, you have CNN IBN and IBN 7. Pankaj sir, you have NDTV India and 24/7. Are you in competition with each other? Or you want to be one above the other?
You mean Pankaj and me, or the CNN IBN and the IBN 7? I'm not sure what you mean, but I think in television you might find that competition is seen as the biggest villain of the day. That because we're competing with each other, that's why our love for TRPs are sort of taking the quality of programming down. I would continue to say try and see everything, glass half full up, because that's the kind of business we're in. The competition is actually making us quicker on our toes. It's making us more initiative driven. Which is a real problem, I can assure you. In this business, you will find that those who have initiative are able to barely survive. Those who don't have initiative don't have a chance. So competition for me would be a positive word. I'm not yet sure what the question actually
The question probably, I think, what I can understand is between the English and the Hindi channels.
Between the English
Maybe
and
that probably, he wanted to communicate that, I suppose.
I think in a sense every journalist is in competition with each other. In terms of the English and Hindi genres, they have now developed in the last few years. I think we have started to take very different trajectories. I don't think that is to do with the philosophy of English journalism versus Hindi journalism. I think the philosophies are the same. But there has been a certain divergence in trajectories in the kind of programming perhaps and packaging that gets put together. My boss, I can tell you, Rajdeep Sardesai, is the editor of both CNN IBN and IBN 7. And 9 times out of 10, he will watch IBN 7. He thinks CNN IBN absolutely does not cut it when it comes to grabbing the viewer and being able to package the news to make it interesting and take it to the viewer rather than expecting the viewer to walk towards him. So as I said, in that there is a difference. In terms of the philosophy, one hopes there isn't. I mean, I don't think so.
I think if you're talking about competition with each other, I think it's absolutely fine. If the competition is better, I mean, you improve, and you have to improve, otherwise you are going to be finished in the market. one thing. So I really welcome when Rajdeep, who's a great colleague with me, friend, and when he left and did that, we all actually wished him good luck. Because before that, I mean, there was no competition, seriously, for NDTV. And as for the competition within the organization is concerned, I can tell you that on more than 3 occasions, our Hindi team, while setting up cameras with some minister or some VIP, the English team reached there with their own cameras. So we have that kind of competition. So because we, at times when it's a big interview, we don't tell each other. So that's what it is. I mean, within the organization, I think it's very healthy, and that's what keep two organization also in one umbrella on toes.
I'll probably read out one question. It already has been answered from Kushagra Batra. He's written the name. Can I just see your face? BJMC. Yeah. A fresh entrant. Good. He says if the film industry is not doing well, why are the actors demanding so much of money? They're paid in crores. That probably I don't know. Next question is for Mr. Dilip Cherian. Your advice to event students.
Events is probably one area where the question that was asked of me earlier about improving the English doesn't really matter, because events is about being able to be on the ground, being able to be awake for many hours on a sustained basis, and being willing to deal with all kinds of unexpected situations. So I think events is going to be a huge growth area in the future, because today most families have forgotten how to hold simple ceremonies which were household ceremonies. Even that is being outsourced to event managers. Our lives are now soon going to be treated as an event in which managers step in and step out depending on the amount of money you have to spend on the event. So I think event management has a charm for some people. It's a great career option, and among the career options that all of us have discussed, it's one where there's going to be growth in the on a sustained basis, especially for new entrepreneurs. So if you want to be a business person and set up your own business, event management is one direction to go if language is not the direction that you've gone in when you were a child.
Another very interesting question from a student, a mass communication masters. With almost every media house opening their own institutes, Times, CNN, IBN, NDTV, हम कहाँ जाएंगे? I don't know who will answer this.
आप एमिटी आएंगे? See, it's I think same as anywhere else. When we used to have only BSNL and MTNL, the service of telephone in the country, you must have noticed. I mean, you are too young actually to know that I, as a bureau chief of the Sunday Observer, when it was being launched from Delhi, spent 3 weeks at the MTNL headquarters to get 4 lines to our new office, which is the media office. I personally did. And because my editor, Vinod Mehta, said that people are unable to crack it, they are asking for huge amounts of money as bribes. So if you go, they'll be scared of you and they'll do it faster. So I did that. Now you look at it, people are giving you phones free, airtime free, the service is improved so much. And similarly, if we have more competition in institutions and they are run well, there will be, I think, better students which will come out. I actually usually take classes routinely at our own institute, NDTV Media Institute, and there are only 40 people, 38 people there. And I find with each batch, the kind of students which are coming are becoming sharper and sharper. And the kind of fields they are coming from. There is a electronic engineer who applied last year. I told him, you go back and join HCL or Infosys or something. I said, what are you doing here? There was an air hostess. There were people from the events management companies. There are MBAs. There are MBAs who want to join media, this thing. So our pool, the gene pool of media is getting better, and I'm really happy that that's happening. People are coming from different areas. Chennai has a very good institute, Pune has a very good institute, Bombay has many good institutes, Chandigarh has a good institute, and more the merrier. I think it will improve the quality of journalists in our country.
This is a question which is very interesting and probably needs a little debate, in which one of the students, again the course program not written, is raised a very interesting question. A journalist is taught to be true to his profession, truth, but nothing but the truth. Can he do that when it concerns 1, security, 2, editorial pressure, and 3, his channel allegiance to some party? A very interesting question. He's not addressed it to any particular, because what probably he feels is that most of the channels, they have a particular interest in a particular party, and are they as free to express themselves as media claims to be free?
I have to start by saying I must be extremely fortunate because I haven't ever faced any pressure in terms of one political party versus another. At some level, look, I mean, you have to accept that the media must be doing something right. If we upset practically every party at some point of time, then there must be some kind of signal there that most of the media channels you watch are not biased towards one party or another. I think you might find that in a lot of times what you are mistaking as an editorial line is getting mixed up with a different party's line. And journalists have been known to take editorial lines. But more and more in this new age, I think with the kind of the market driving so much of what we do, the public driving so much of what we do in terms of revenues, I think it would be very difficult for a political party to control any media channel, any independent media channel. And certainly most of the channels that you watch, I don't think are open to that kind of pressure.
As far as truth is concerned, see, truth in India comes out in driblets. It's taken us 25 years for the Bhopal case to unravel. There's so many cases which are still lying. So truth is not like that. The kind of truth we are dealing in media is a different kind of truth. We are not judging someone. We are just giving information, digging into that information, and telling you what lies between what we see and the contradictions in that. If a minister is saying that he is not corrupt, we have to dig in and find out what he did earlier, what is his track record. That's the truth. And that's, from the media terms, that's what actually the truth is. If a company is making claims about its shampoo, that it can really grow your hair 3 inches a day, we have to find a way to expose that company, that it's not on. If a corporate house is mining somewhere illegally, and the truth is that we'll say that this is the law of mining and this is what they're doing and this is what our reporter has found. So that's the truth. So that kind of truth we can always and we should bring out each time we are talking about, giving information in media. Unfortunately in media, people think it's just giving information, just giving one side of the story, which is why people also think that the media houses are biased and they are in hand in glove with some political party or other, because they do not dig enough. If you start digging in, there are so many contradictions in every information which you get, and that contradiction is actually the truth.
Right, there are a huge amount of questions still lying with me, but due to the positive time, I'll take one more question. And that's again addressed, though Mr. Dilip Cheran has already answered that question about events and PR. And the concept of image management, I think this is a lecture by itself, and maybe depending on his availability, one day I'll request him to come over and address you on this. Again, the question is from the electronic media. Isn't the interest now, more interest in English journalism growing day by day? Is it going to create some threat for future prospects of Hindi journalism? is the English journalism causing any threat to Hindi journalism?
No, I think it's the other way around. The Hindi journalism is causing a threat to the English journalism. If you look at the numbers alone, Hindi journalists reach 7 times the number of English journalists reach. But unfortunately in our country, the advertising people who sell advertising, the marketing people, they think that English speaking people have more money. Now, it's fine. And now, when more people in Jalandhar, in Nashik, in Ulhasnagar, and in even in Ranchi are buying more Mercedes cars than people sitting in South Delhi and South Bombay, I think they have to change their thinking. And it's high time. So, the threat actually is from not just Hindi. The threat to even Hindi now is from regional journalism. In last 1 year, the total volume, which we say, viewership of Hindi journalism has gone down 30% because, as I told you, there are more channels coming in Telugu, in Bhojpuri, in Gujarati, in Marathi. That's why. So the future would be always, India would be like India. 18% of people, if they speak Gujarati in Maharashtra and Gujarat, it will be that important. If 50% of India understands some sort of a Hindi, then that will also be important. It's not a threat, but it's always will be distributed accordingly. I really hope, and I'd like to say it here, if any of you are from Jharkhand and Chhattisgarh, what we need in this country are 2 good Santhal channels. If there are 2 good Santhal channels, the information which is going down to Santhali people in Chhattisgarh and in Jharkhand to the Naxal areas would be very good. Because this whole fight which is going on between the government and the Naxalites to give their kind of information will be fine. I'll be really good in that. I'll feel really good if there are channels in every small language, every other language. In Northeast, there should be channel in Assamese. We are right now only have channels which are in big states or the states which have lots of money, like say Kerala. Kerala is busting its seams with channels. Tamil Nadu, rich state. So many channels there. So that's going to happen, and the threat is not from English to Hindi or Hindi to English. Threat will be actually from market to market and distribution.
Right. I still have been getting requests that some people want to send some questions, but due to paucity of time, I'm afraid we'll have to stop here. I take this opportunity to thank the entire panel for creating such a nice ambience and answering all your questions. May I request Professor Adessa, MC, to proceed further with whatever.